What if I told you that the thing draining your bank account the fastest isn't a bad investment, isn't a bad business decision? It's something you bought last week with a smile on your face? You didn't feel a thing. No alarm went off, no warning label. Just a quiet, invisible leak, and it's been running for years. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people aren't broke because they don't earn enough. They're broke because they keep spending on things that look like living well, but are actually the slow death of financial freedom. And the craziest part? Society doesn't just allow it, society celebrates it. Today, we're going to rip the curtain back on 10 things that are a complete waste of your wealth. Some of these will surprise you. One of them, I guarantee, you did this month, and by the time we reach number 7, you'll never look at your lifestyle the same way again. If success is your goal and you're ready to level up, make sure you subscribe. Every video is crafted to move you closer to the life you deserve. 1. Lifestyle upgrades you haven't earned yet. There's a phrase that quietly ruins millions of people. I deserve this. You got a raise. You closed a deal. You had a good month. And suddenly the apartment gets bigger, the car gets newer, the wardrobe gets a refresh. That feeling is real, but the math behind it is brutal. Here's what actually happens. When income rises and spending rises at the same pace, your wealth never grows. Only your comfort does. Economists call this hedonic adaptation, which basically means no matter how much you upgrade, the thrill fades within 90 days and you're back to baseline. A $500 dinner feels ordinary after 3 of them. The new apartment stops feeling special by month 2. The wealth-building move isn't to stop enjoying life. It's to freeze your lifestyle temporarily after every income jump and funnel the gap into assets. Every $500 a month invested over 20 years, at even a moderate return, compounds into wealth that actually outlasts the dopamine of a lifestyle upgrade. The upgrade you haven't bought yet is the one quietly building your future. 2. Buying status instead of value. There's a psychological trap that luxury brands have spent billions of dollars engineering, and it targets something very specific inside you, the fear of being seen as ordinary. When you buy a $400 wallet instead of a $41, the extra $360 doesn't go toward leather quality. Research shows most of it goes toward the logo, the brand story, and your perception of how others see you. Here's the darker truth that no one talks about. The people you're trying to impress aren't watching. In The Psychology of Money, Morgan Housel writes that when you see someone in a luxury car, you don't actually admire the driver. You imagine yourself in that car. Status spending is a performance with no audience. The average household spends over $1,400 a year purely on brand premium, the gap between the functional cost of a product and its logo-inflated price. That's $14,000 a decade spent on the idea of status. Spent differently, that's a down payment, a funded emergency reserve, or the seed capital of something that generates returns. There's a reason the wealthiest people in documented studies, particularly first-generation millionaires, consistently choose understated, functional spending. Not because they're cheap, but because they understood early that wealth is what you don't spend, not what you show. 3. Subscriptions. You've forgotten but still pay for. This one hits different because it's sneaky. Somewhere on your bank statement right now is a charge you haven't thought about in 3 months. Maybe it's a streaming platform you haven't opened since a show ended. A meditation app you used twice in January. A gym add-on, a software tool, a box delivery you paused but never canceled. The most dangerous subscriptions aren't the expensive ones, they're the $9.99 ones. Because they're small enough to ignore, but numerous enough to collectively drain hundreds of dollars a year. If you audited your subscriptions tonight and canceled everything you haven't used this month, most people would reclaim between $100 and $300 instantly. That's not budgeting, that's just paying attention. And speaking of things you're paying for without realizing, wait until we get to point number 6. That one is going to feel personal. 4. Lottery tickets and the scarcity gamble. Here's a statistic that should genuinely stop you cold. Americans spend more money on lottery tickets every year than on books, movies, video games, music, and sporting events combined, over $105 billion annually. That's not a cultural quirk. That's a signal of something deeper. Lottery spending is highest in the lowest income brackets, not because those people are irrational, but because when you feel like the system offers no legitimate path to wealth, a $2 ticket starts to feel like the only door left unlocked. It's a desperation tax, and the house always wins. The odds of winning a major jackpot hover around 1 in 292 million. You are statistically more likely to be struck by lightning twice than to win Powerball. Yet the brain doesn't process those numbers. It processes the story of the winner, the headline, the fantasy. That emotional override is expensive. 5. Eating out as an emotional coping mechanism. Food is culture. Food is joy. But food has also become the most socially acceptable way to spend money without questioning it. The average household now spends nearly $3,500 a year dining out. That number has quietly doubled in a generation, not because food got better, but because convenience became a way to manage stress. Here's the shift that matters. When eating out is a celebration, it's a worthy expense. When it's a Tuesday because you're exhausted and overwhelmed, it's emotional spending wearing a restaurant menu. The problem isn't the meal, it's the pattern. Because that pattern, unchecked, costs more annually than many people's monthly rent. The reframe isn't to meal prep every Sunday like a robot. It's to decide in advance. Choose 2 or 3 dining experiences a week that you actively look forward to, and replace the rest with simple, quick home meals. That single shift saves most households between $150 and $300 a month without sacrificing any real joy. 6. Paying interest on depreciating assets. Credit card debt on consumer spending is the most sophisticated wealth transfer system ever built, and it moves money from the financially stretched directly into the balance sheets of financial institutions. In 2023, Americans paid over $130 billion in credit card interest alone. Not principal. Interest. Here's the mechanics of the trap. You buy a $1,200 television on a credit card at 22% interest, make minimum payments, and by the time it's paid off, that television cost you $1,800, and it's worth $300. You paid $1,800 for a depreciating object, plus you handed $600 to a bank as a fee for the privilege. This is happening across electronics, furniture, fashion, and vacations in millions of households simultaneously. Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki frames it this way: the rich buy assets that put money in their pocket. The middle class buys liabilities that look like assets. A financed car, a credit-funded wardrobe, a borrowed vacation, none of these appreciate. They all extract. 7. Upgrading your phone. Every single year. The global smartphone upgrade cycle is now being aggressively pushed toward 1 year by manufacturers. Not because the technology leap justifies it, but because that's what generates revenue. The average new flagship phone costs $999 to $1,299. If you upgrade every year, you're spending roughly $12,000 a decade on a device that, functionally, does roughly the same things your 2-year-old phone does. Studies in user behavior have found that the majority of smartphone users use fewer than 30% of their phone's actual capabilities. You're not upgrading the utility, you're upgrading the novelty. And novelty, as we discussed earlier, fades in weeks. Extend your upgrade cycle from 1 year to 3 years. That saves you approximately $2,000 over the same decade, and you will genuinely not miss a single feature in your real daily life. That $2,000 invested instead becomes something real. 8. Over-insuring things that don't need insurance. Insurance for your expensive phone. Extended warranties on appliances. Travel insurance on every trip. Credit card payment protection. These feel responsible. They're marketed as responsible. But many of them are statistically among the worst financial products you can buy. Consumer Reports found that extended warranties are almost never worth their cost, given the low probability of the specific failure they cover. The warranty industry is built on the fact that people overestimate risk when they're emotionally attached to something new they just purchased. True insurance belongs on things that would financially devastate you if they failed: your health, your home, your income, not your blender. 9. Following financial advice from people who aren't wealthy. The internet is filled with financial content from people whose primary income comes from talking about money, not from having money. This sounds harsh, but it's a genuine wealth hazard. Taking advice from someone without verified results is like taking fitness advice from someone who's never trained consistently. The words sound right, the logic tracks, but the source hasn't stress-tested it with real stakes. Ramit Sethi, in I Will Teach You to Be Rich, makes a sharp observation. Most people spend more time researching a $200 purchase than they spend vetting where their financial beliefs come from. Those beliefs, compounded over a lifetime, determine whether you retire comfortably or keep working when you'd rather not. Source your financial education carefully. Books over social media, track records over opinions, implementation over consumption. 10. Spending on the appearance of productivity. Here's the final one, and it's the most ironic. Expensive planners you don't use. Premium course bundles you never finish. High-end home office setups that don't change your output. Productivity aesthetics have become a billion-dollar industry built on the gap between who you want to be and who you currently are. There's a psychological phenomenon called completion anxiety, where buying a tool gives you the feeling of progress without the work. You feel like you've moved forward, so the urgency to actually move forward decreases. The $300 standing desk doesn't make you more productive. The $12 course you actually finish does. Wealth is built by doing, not by acquiring the tools of doing. Every dollar spent on the appearance of ambition is a dollar not invested in the actual act of it. You don't need to earn more to start building wealth. You need to stop bleeding from the cuts you've stopped noticing. And now that you can see them, every single one of them, the bleeding stops today. In every video, I try to discuss and address the factors that surely improve the chances of your success. If you like this also, subscribe the channel, like and share the wealthy knowledge to your loved ones.